Meeting February 2nd, 2022. We will go ahead and begin with an invocation by Commissioner Summers, and then our Community Development Director, Scott Lyons, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear kind Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee today, we appreciate the hand and all the things that we do. We know that we need more moisture, and we would petition Thee that if You see fit, that we might be able to have that moisture so we can grow our crops and that we can have drinking water. Please help us to understand the things that are happening around us, and that we might be able to be a little more forgiving and a lot more loving. Please bless those people that are less fortunate than we are, that they may have Thy Spirit to be with them. Please watch over our troops, foreign and abroad, and in the States, that they might be able to go home safely. Please bless our first responders and our sheriffs and deputies here, that they will continue to do the great job that they do, and everybody else that's involved in those avenues. Please watch over our families while we're gone, and that we'll be able to go home in safety. We say these things in the name of my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started, our County Fire Marshal, Corey Barton, brought us some news today. Steve Battis, that has been a long-time member of the fire community here in the county for 40 years, was just honored just a few months ago for his service, and he passed away, was it this morning? Long fight with cancer. And so we wanted to offer our condolences to his family, to the fire department, and just observe a moment of silence here at the beginning of the meeting for Steve Battis. So. Thank you. We appreciate his service and all those that serve our EMS, our fire, and our law enforcement officers that do some amazing work here. So thanks, Corey. Okay. Did you gentlemen have a chance to look over the minutes from our meetings on the 5th and the 19th of January?
Yeah. I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from January 5th, 2022 and January 19th, 2022.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any correspondence, anything we need to review? Any past agenda items?
Yes.
Steve does.
I have one, Commissioner. Previously, we discussed the county's participation in the opioid settlement as a non-litigating county. There's some forms that need to be filled out indicating that we're participating in the settlement, but we're a non-litigating county. I have those forms here, and they need to be signed by the chair.
Okay.
And then I can get them back to where they need to get.
Okay.
Was there something else that we talked about? No, I can't remember.
Don't think so.
Maybe this was just it. Do you want to say a little bit about what this is about real quick, or do you want somebody else to talk about it? Or
Sure. Basically, what's happened is several counties initiated litigation against the opioid manufacturing and distributing companies. Boxelder County determined they weren't going to do that. They were going to allow the state to do what they were going to do. There's now a settlement that's been reached, but they need everybody to participate, even the non-litigating counties, and this is just indicating that, yeah, we're okay with them settling that. So.
And we really appreciate Steve's work on this and his counsel in not litigating. I think it saved the county a ton of money that just didn't need to be expended. So thanks, Steve. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Emergency management. COVID numbers are actually starting to drop a little bit. Omicron went through pretty quick. Again, be careful. If you're sick, stay home. If you're concerned, stay home. If you're not,
Stay home.
what Commissioner Summers said.
Sorry.
So, ARPA, we did have our administrative session just before this meeting. We had just under, I believe it was just under 10 million in asks. There was one change that we need to discuss. The Water Conservancy District was a 1 year, not a 3 year. So it was a one time. But we had about 50% remaining of the asked amount. And so there were 6 formal applications that came in. One of those was funded. That particular project had a match that was at least 3 to 1, most likely. And there's a federal match that should be coming in. And so we have no idea what that'll take it to. We're hopeful that it could be 10, 20, 30 to 1. And so it really allowed us to leverage those funds. The other applications that we have had thus far did not have any match. There was no associated dollars with it. And so what we're going to do is send out an email to the applicants, asking them to talk with folks in their office, the different agencies that they work with that have oversight over that type of funding, and see if they can get matching funds. And then we can relook at those just so we can make sure that this stretches as far as possible.
And we do have somebody in Bragg right now that we've
Yes.
hired to be able to look at some of these things. So even if you don't have anybody in your department that can do that, if you have a wind or have an ask for some of that department, then we can actually give it to Laura and she can go over it and see if we qualify or if those people qualify for that also.
And some of the entities that are requesting this also receive ARPA funds. And so if we can see that in their application, that they are looking at using some of their own ARPA funds, that helps in looking at how far we can, push that project and make the dollars go as far as possible. So,
Yeah, we need some skin in the game on those.
But yeah, it's like the legislature told us this year. They said a lot of times it's easy when there's no funding out there. It's a really lean year because they just tell everybody no. But this year in particular, there's a lot of money floating around, and so they have 2 to 3 to 1 asks, and it's even harder just because of the excess. So that's kind of where we're at, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, 510. I don't see Annette here. We'll push that down the list and see if she makes it in. Mike.
Once a year, we get to see Mike. Well, twice. At the fair.
Those are for the minutes.
Thank you.
The information I just gave to you is just for your reading. It's not part of what we're talking about tonight here, but what that is just showing you some of the impacts that USU Extension has made throughout the state of Utah. We normally do an impact report for
You need to tell us who you are and who you're with. Sorry.
Mike Pace, USU Extension
Even
office.
though we know.
We will have another one that we do specifically for Box Elder County, and it's in print right now, and I don't have a copy of it yet. So when I do get it, I'll bring it down and give it to you. But just want to make you aware of those impacts. What we are here tonight or this evening to ask is we're looking at doing our agreement between USU Extension and Box Elder County to do work here in the county. The agreement is pretty much the same as what has been signed in previous years. And I think each of you should have received a copy of the 2021 and the 2022 agreement. What it basically has changed is the dates. So 2022 this year on page 1. On page 2, our operating budget amount for the 2020 year And in the back page, it has the total budget that we are allocated from the county to do that with. And that's what I have. I don't know if you guys have questions about it or concerns.
I have a concern you lost one of the good agents. We'd like to congratulate him, Josh Dallin, for moving upward and onward, but I didn't know whether to congratulate him or kidnap him, so.
Yes, that's replace.
It will be. Just to let you guys know, we have the position description into the university right now. Hopefully that'll be approved and posted by the end of the week, and then it has to be posted for 30 days, and then hopefully we can get moving on that. So
Okay.
if you guys are interested, when they do narrow it down to individuals, we'd be happy to have you guys be a part of that selection if anybody's interested in
I'm
it.
sure one of us would love to be on it.
Yeah, that'd be great. We appreciate that.
How about if we get Jan Rhodes on there too?
I told her she can participate in like when we do their presentations and
That'd be
get to
cool.
know you type things. I told her we would invite her if she's interested, and she said she probably
She told
would
me
be.
she was putting in for it, and I told her no.
Then it'd be my benefit and you guys lost.
No problem.
But anyway, any questions about the cooperative agreement? Like I said, pretty standard what we've seen in the past and presented to you.
Did you have any questions on this, Steve? It's
Didn't look it
identical.
over. Everything was the same. There
Okay.
was a little bit of a small increase in a couple of the items. I can't remember what they
Right.
were exactly, but everything else was the same.
I'd make a motion we approve cooperating agreement 22-03 for USU Extension in Box Elder County.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks, gentlemen.
thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Good evening.
Let's see. You covering this one, Steve?
Yes. That is just an update on the ETS. OSHA, my understanding is that they have withdrawn their case from the court, so it's not even pending anymore. There is a permanent rule that's open to comment but won't be its way down the road, which makes our policy no longer necessary. Didn't know if you guys wanted to clarify that, and by its terms, it's not in place right now, but we did collect a bunch of information that could probably now be destroyed. So that's why that's on there.
So no action needs to be taken, just
Other than if you want to direct Jenica to,
destroy
Do
it.
you see any need to keep it at this point? Okay.
I'd make a motion, we get rid of the information then that we've collected on that.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers to get rid of the OSHA info. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's good news. That's really good news.
And
Okay.
Tom stepped out, but we can probably just do these lease agreements.
Yeah, we went over these last time. This was a lease agreement for these different parcels. On both of these parcels, there was only one individual that submitted a bid for each parcel. And so we reviewed those last time, and we just need to approve them at this time.
I'll make a motion that we approve lease agreement 2204 for parcel 070940008 for Nick Hawks.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Want me to do the next one?
I'll make a motion, we
Okay.
approve the lease agreement for 22-05, the Clark Land and Livestock Parcel 0406800016.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Marla, do you have a list of the members for this?
I do. Most of them are the same.
Okay.
The terms had expired since we haven't done a CLG grant for a little bit. But the commission members for the Historic Preservation Committee that gets together and decides if a project qualifies for historic grants from the state. There would be David Captain, Marla Young, Deanne Lester, Larry Douglas, and Beulah Wells. I'd also like you to appoint Larry Douglas as the chairman and allow him to sign the applications. The one grant that we are looking to help is for the Korean Church. And the county won't have to pay anything, because we're having some things done here in the courthouse, and that counts towards what they get to do, so,
Okay, so it's 4 members.
5.
Okay, I got Larry, Dave, Marla, Beulah. Who did I miss?
Deanne Lester.
Okay. Okay.
I'd make a motion that we approve those people, if you want to say them again. To the people. Box Elder County Historic Preservation. Sorry, I was texting Stuart Clayson when we were during that. So I heard everything was going on, just didn't quite get it in the brain.
It sounded funny.
Just those people.
And
Being Larry Douglas, Dave Captain, Marla Young, Beulah Wells, and Deanne Lester.
Second.
you might, and put in there.
And the chair.
And the
that
chair.
he's the chair
Oh, yeah.
allowed
See, I
to
was
sign an
listening.
application. How's that?
Okay. So we've got a motion that's been offered by
Some
Commissioner
sort of a
Summers, expanded on by our county clerk, Marla, and seconded by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay. Takes a village. Okay, thank you. All right. Looks like we've got some ordinances for the solar.
You think you
Do we
missed
need
one?
any, did I miss something?
Support from
Oh,
Northrop
yeah,
Grumman.
yeah, I did. It's there at the bottom of the page.
We were sent a letter here just after the last commission to support Northrop Grumman in their adventures and everything that they're trying to do out there. They just need a letter of support from the local, and they are doing amazing things out there. So if we can just sign this letter of support, showing that the state government, the federal government, that the locals actually appreciate what they're doing. When I became a commissioner in 2012, they mothballed 22 buildings out to Northrop Grumman, and I think our tax rate actually went up because of the taxes that they paid. And now they have unmothballed all 22 buildings, and they're building probably 7 or 8 more. So we appreciate them being in our community. So I would make a motion that we sign this letter of support for Northrop Grumman.
Second.
And this is just a generally sports letter. It's not something specific to like UAS, UAV. Okay. Very good. I have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Very good. Now we're on to the solar.
Do you want me to have him call it now or wait for the RDA? Do you want us? Okay. We can call him when the RDA, okay.
Say you could do it and then go into the RDA and do that at the same time, you know?
Yeah, if you want to do that, then you can just call him and she can kind of tell us what's going on, and it's up to Jeff.
Do it all at once. Yeah, that makes sense.
RDA then? Is that what you're saying?
No.
We could just,
We have to do this
Oh,
in this
yeah.
meeting.
Well, you're still the chair of the RDA, right?
No.
'Cause we never-
We changed it last time.
We didn't have it on the agenda.
It wasn't
It's
on
on
the
the
agenda.
agenda this time.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, okay. So you're in charge on that
I'm
one.
okay going in there, but then you'll have to run the RDA until it hits the agenda item. So,
Jeff
yeah,
can
go
run
ahead,
it
Megan. Let's
after
go
you
on with
appoint the
this,
chairman.
and then we'll
Do we
kick
want to wait
in.
for Stuart?
We'll kick into the RDA after, and maybe we can get him on the phone
Okay.
during that point. So,
My name's Megan Whitley here with the Hsa Renewable Investments. Today, I guess as part of the commissioners meeting, we are approving the amendment to the plans and budgets for Steel and Rocket Solar. So for Rocket and Steel, we have 2 phases of each of these projects. So originally, Rocket and Steel are both 80 megawatts. At Rocket, we are adding an additional 45 megawatts with a 12.5 megawatt battery. At Steel, we are adding a second phase of 67 megawatts with a 35 megawatt battery storage project at that one. Those are going to be adjacent to those original projects. And so what we're doing here with the plans is we are adding in those additional project areas, those phase 2s. I actually brought some maps with me. I didn't pass them out to you guys, so sorry about that. I think you've seen them previously. So that's what we're doing here to amend those plans, and then the budgets are reflected, updated to reflect those additional parcels and the additional equipment that will be on those additional phases. So this is, a huge milestone for the projects to
to work through these additional amendments, to get the participation agreements that we'll be going into with RDA meeting. We recently got the permits solidified back in December for the conditional use permits. And then we are still going through contract negotiations for the power purchase agreements for each of these second phases for Rocket 2 and for Steel 2. We expect those to be completed within the next month or two, give or take. So getting these tax increment financings in place and secured is a huge milestone for the project. It's also a lot of additional tax income for you guys. It adds a good bit to your tax base. At Steel, among the two different phases, we will see approximately $7.1 million over the 20-year period that we are in those participation agreements. And at Rocket, between those two phases, we're seeing $5.1 million across that 20-year period. And of course, afterwards, we'll be paying taxes as well, but that's what you'll see during that 20-year increment financing period. In addition, you guys are going to be seeing construction jobs. We'll see approximately 100 to 200 construction jobs, temporary construction jobs added to these projects, depending on how we shift crews around. So income, additional income via sales tax, sales in the county. And then as we look into the full-time, the project's life, the operations and maintenance, we're going to be seeing about 1 to 2 full-time jobs among these 4 projects, 2 projects with 2 phases, to be basically technicians operating those projects. We see it as a benefit. We heard this from the school district that, there's they really like this additional income, but there's minimal burden in terms of additional expenditure for the county's resources. That was echoed by the school district with, minimal students being added to their districts as well. And we also see this as a great way to promote development in Box Elder County in the state of Utah. And it's a great testament to the relationship with you all. It's been a pleasure working with you guys, and it's really helped us move these projects along as smoothly as we have out here. So we really appreciate that. That's all I have for you guys.
Do we have to do the RDA first and then go back into and approve
To
these?
approve these, I think you do, don't you?
You can take your recess.
I can't
You
remember.
mean as far as in terms of what needs to go first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it seems to me like we had to do the
go into the RDA.
RDA
Yeah.
first and then,
Yeah.
You
hey,
guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can.
I hope everybody else can. It's just not in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, commissioners. Yeah.
okay.
The what we need to do is the agency needs to you had the public hearing at the last meeting. You've got the resolutions to approve the amended plans and budget. So we have drafts of those. So you all need to pass those resolutions approving the amended plans and budgets. Then you have the participation agreements. So you need to pass you need to vote on the resolutions for the participation agreements. And then once those action items are done, then as the commission, you need to approve the amended plans and budgets by ordinance, which we have copies of those. And they've been prepared. All the paperwork has been prepared by Kyle Fielding. And once you guys approve, or once you make your decision, and if they are all approved, he'll act as the attorney of record on this.
So that didn't explain, so do we have to do that in the RDA first and then come
Yes, we
back?
do.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
RDA
Yeah,
first.
RDA first, and then
Okay.
commission for the ordinances.
Okay. All right. So you're up to
I would
the,
entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we go into our
we don't need to, you just need
recess. We
to,
can just go into the RDA. I make
Okay.
a motion, we go into the RDA.
Okay,
I thought we just had to,
just do a recess.
just a recess.
Okay, so we're in it.
Yep.
Do you need to change the tape? Okay.
Yeah, just real quick.
So I don't need a motion then.
Guess not. Just to go back
We'll
out.
keep it till
Good,
later.
good practice.
Yeah. You're in charge, Mr. RDA Chair.
Is your tape ready? Okay. We need to call the order of our RDA on, what is today, February 2nd, right? 2022?
2/2 of 22.
And the only thing that I need to do before I turn the reins over is entertain a motion for the approve the RDA minutes from 12:15 and from 1:19.
I would make that motion.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we need to appoint the RDA chairman. So I'd entertain a motion to appoint.
I'd make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Scott to be the chair for the RDA.
I'll second that motion. Beat you
It's going
to
to say fail for a lack of a second.
it. So I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now she's all yours.
All right. You wanted to get that done before all these
Yes, I
resolutions, didn't
did.
you?
I seen a list of things to do.
Okay. So, as Megan has explained, and Stuart also, what we are looking at here is resolutions that would approve the amended plan for both the rocket and the steel, and then also the amended budget for rocket and for steel, and then also the amended participation agreement for rocket and steel, and then approve the participation agreement for rocket and steel 2, the second phase. And so that's what all of these resolutions are, is getting that taken care of.
And if we want to say one more thing, Jeff, before we go in, the state 2 years ago put everything into a solar that has to go in would be into personal property. So if a county or a city or a state did not approve these in Utah to go into one of these RDAs or CDAs or whatever you want to call them, they would not show up in your taxes. So this is something that we have to do, or basically, like you said, we just lose $20 million in taxes in the next 20 years.
12.2,
So, okay, approximately, sorry, didn't want to put that on the,
give or take 20 or 30 cents.
yeah.
Okay. Anything to add additional, Stuart, before we start?
No, I feel like you guys are probably going to start teaching me things.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2206 for the rocket solar plan.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd make a motion, we approve Resolution 2202, approving the amended steel solar plant.
Second.
Plant.
Motion by Commissioner Summers, second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye. I'd make a motion, we approve Resolution 2208, approving the amended rocket solar budget.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd make a motion, we approve Resolution 2203, approving the amended steel solar budget.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2207, approving the amended participation agreement for rocket solar,
Second.
CRA.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd make a motion, we approve the Resolution 2205, approving the amended participation agreement for the steel solar CRA.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers, a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion, we approve Resolution 2209, approving participation agreement for rocket solar 2 within the rocket solar CRA.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Last but not least, I make a motion to approve Resolution 2204, approving participation agreement for steel solar 2 within steel solar CRA.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion, we adjourn from the RDA.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Megan, Stuart, thank you.
Well, and then the only other thing that you guys have to
Oh, we
do
gotta-
as a committee
yeah.
Go back in the
is
ordinances.
you have to approve the plans by ordinance.
Yep. That's the next
Okay.
thing.
And that is, yep, as soon as we're back live.
Hold on a second, I gotta change tapes.
See, Stuart, we couldn't do it without you.
Oh, well, making me feel so special. I'll tell you guys this, I know we're on the record, but I just must say, Utah is amazing, and I live in Utah, but it is not, I just got back from Montana, and Montana is not bad.
Little cold.
It's cold, it is, it gets negative, but it's pretty majestic up there.
Okay.
We're just waiting for the chair to finish signing those other RDA.
You can make the motion. I just won't second it.
Okay. I will make a motion. We approve ordinance 55, or 551 for the amended rocket solar plan.
Second.
There's a lot of stuff here to sign. No wonder you want to be
Now you're
the
putting
chair.
pressure on him.
That's why I wanted to get rid of that chairmanship stuff.
Oh, man. No one's like,
It's interesting how some commissions, somebody wants to be the chair all the time, and none of us
It's
really.
like hot potato here. Feel like you're filling out a mortgage?
something like that.
Went in for a blood test for life insurance.
Some of these are triplicate. It's probably not going to be a bad idea for you guys to check and make sure I didn't miss anything.
Sure.
Should we start dividing that up on how much we're gonna make, on how many signatures? We did get somebody from down here off the freeway off of 4th Street thanked us for the rocket, for the solar program, because I guess a couple people are staying there, or starting to stay there.
Oh, great.
So that's what,
That's
we
good to hear.
appreciate you spending money in the county. I don't know, they just happened to say today, they said, we've got, maybe it was you guys that are staying there, I don't know.
No, we have become regulars at the tea house across the street, though.
Okay.
Oh, Michelle likes you guys then.
So I do know that the people out at the Golden Spike were a little interested on what was going on and wanted to make sure they weren't going to come any further west towards the Golden Spike.
No, no,
Yeah, that's
no,
what I-
no
Some
plans,
solar
no
panels on
plans.
the trains, how's
Yeah,
that?
yeah, so. We're almost done.
If they want to see our
You
project
think?
plans to see where we stop in relation.
Maybe just take a drive and keep going. We can get you to the, and you can go out and meet those guys. They're really good people.
Sure. And while he's going through signatures, I talked with Stuart this morning about the interlocal agreements. It sounds like he's been in touch with you, Stan, about getting those.
Talked to mosquito abatement last night.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have to get the other ones. Probably talk to Jeff about the water conservatory district.
Reverse order.
And we'll still have to go back to the school district.
All right. I believe we have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers for ordinance number 551. All in favor?
Aye. I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance 550, approving the amended steel solar plan.
Second?
I have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield for ordinance number 550. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. And text.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Stuart.
And sincere thanks and for whoever prepared that paperwork. Wow.
And saves the day.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's some fun stuff. Okay. Thanks, ladies.
Yep.
Thanks, you guys.
Okay.
Safe travels.
Don't see Laura here. Are you covering
here,
this, or have you
yeah.
got the freight flow study?
Yep. It's come to our attention that there is a grant out there for a freight flow study, but by the time we basically get it and get it back, that all the grants that we need it for will probably be closed. So I've come before the commission, and Laura wanted to come before the commissioner to see if we would take $25,000 out of economic development to fund this freight flow study, and underneath the premise that we'll probably get 99% of it back. So,
Through a grant?
yeah, from the grant and the other participating counties, so
Okay.
that was, they said $25,000, and on the tune of, you know, they'll pay it back, plus with the grants that'll go out for, who knows how much we'll be able to get back. So that's what we're here for tonight, is just to see if we'll put the $25,000 out there for a little while so we can get the rest of the grants finished.
And that scope is to look at the freight that's traveling through on 15 and 84?
All three counties, actually. So it'll go through Cache.
Oh, so it's
and us.
Tri-County.
So they'll probably pay some
Okay.
too when it comes down to it.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important.
Okay.
She says she'll do all the heavy lifting. We just need to pay for the study.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd entertain a motion. Sorry. Old habits die hard. I'd make a motion that we approve $25,000 to come out of economic development for the freight study.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers, a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I still don't see Annette here, so we'll just keep moving on. Mr. Lyons.
All right. First item I have is Ordinance 549. This is an ordinance authorizing an agricultural subdivision. So anytime a single-family dwelling is involved in an agricultural subdivision, it comes to the county commission. This is located at 13465 North and East Garland Road in unincorporated Box Elder County. So the home would remain on a 0.9 acre parcel, and that would leave a 12.34 acre agricultural parcel. The original parcel was 13.24 acres. So this went to the Planning Commission at their meeting January 20th, 2022, and they approved it, and it now comes to you with that recommendation of approval.
Okay, very good. Any questions, Showman?
And this is the one we're going to work on with the legislature, maybe not this year, but next year, just making this easier.
Yeah, there's a couple things required by state code that aren't really applicable to an agricultural subdivision, such as receiving approval from the Sanitary Sewer Authority and the
That we
Culinary
have
Water Authority. Basically, we're just hassling those agencies when we reach out to them because they have no care or input when
Right.
someone's just trying to split up a field, so.
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 549 for agricultural subdivision.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Just for the record, everybody thought that we were going to slip something through on this agricultural subdivision today because of the CAFO, so now everybody can breathe easy, so just letting everybody know.
Let's see, what's my second item on here?
Got the master plan.
The MPC zone, okay. So this one is an ordinance text amendment. We've filed it as project Z21-023. The applicant has requested to amend the Box Elder County Code Section 3-8-1, eligibility requirements for the master planned community zone. So currently, the first requirement for eligibility is that the project encompass a minimum of 100 acres to assure reasonable internal and external land use compatibility. The applicant is proposing that this requirement be modified to allow a minimum of 50 acres if the project is serviced by a sewer system. This went to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission held a public hearing, and ultimately they forwarded a recommendation of denial. Their findings were, let's see, based on it not being harmonious with the overall character of the county. Area residents are against the proposal. During the public hearing, I believe one resident stepped forward and opposed the proposal. Their third finding was that growth should occur in cities and towns, and also that it has the potential to negatively affect adjacent property owners by causing more condensed travel. With that being said, that's the recommendation that comes to you. I know the applicant is here this evening. If you have any questions or would like to hear from him.
Yeah, I'd like to ask him a couple questions, if that's okay. If you want to come up. And just state your name and who you represent. That'd be great.
Thanks, you guys. So I'm Mike Bastian. I'm with Castle Creek Homes. Do you guys need an address for the record? 8? Okay,
Now we're good.
we're good. So don't we kind of give you where our thought process was on why we went with why we're asking for it?
Yeah.
Because we came in for the PUD overlay, and we decided to go against that. And it was kind of a consensus feel that with this MPC zone, this could be something that we do have a project that we're working on, obviously, in the county. It's in the county. And there was talk about, well, we'll just get rid of the 100-acre minimum requirement. And as I thought about that and talked with Scott a bit, I thought, well, it's not right to just get rid of that 100-acre requirement altogether, because it just opens up the bag to anybody, really, to come in and ask for an MPC zone. So we gave it a lot of thought and consideration in what we asked for with being able to apply for this MPC zone. And so that's why we came to the conclusion of at least moving it down to a 50-acre minimum, because, I mean, I develop a lot of subdivisions, and in 50 acres, that's a sizable master plan community still. But then having that caveat that it has to be able to be serviced by sewer really limits it to the amount of places that it could be asked for within the county as well. Really focusing it down on the south end. I did call around a little bit and ask some of the other cities in the county if they would allow people to tie onto their sewer if they're outside of the city limits. Brigham City, I did talk to them. They were the one that told me in their ordinance, it does allow for somebody to tie on, but they do have to go before city council and get permission for that. And then the things that they have to do to improve like if, say you go down a road, you have to improve the entire road. It just becomes so cost prohibitive, I can't say that. To do it, to really run as far as like a project like we're looking at doing.
So most of them annex.
Yeah, so they would annex in. So that's our thought process in bringing this before you, and just being able to apply for or use the MPC zone is changing this verbiage to 50-acre minimum.
So what's available? That's my thought, because how much do you have available there?
How much do we have on the site that we're looking at?
Yeah.
We have 70.2 acres.
Because that, I almost wish we'd take it back to, say, above 50 for what's available. Because, I mean, that 100 acres, I mean, what happens, like you said, if he's got 77 point whatever?
Are you looking at developing the entire 70.2?
So
That's
yeah,
the-
it would
that's
all
the
be, it
project
would be
area?
all incorporated in our development plan
Okay.
when we bring it in, yeah, it would be. But that's just, we're open to discussion on how we could use it, but in order to use the MPC zone, we can't even apply unless it's something different than that. And so we tried to
Because it doesn't qualify right now.
yeah, and we just tried to think of something, we don't want to, I mean, obviously, we want to talk about our site and work on our site.
Right.
But I had to look at it on the county, for the county when we make this application. So we thought, what would not open the door to just anybody to come in willy-nilly and try and use this MPC zone? And
Yeah.
it really doesn't open it up to too many people by doing it this way, at least in my opinion and looking
So
at
that's
it.
what I was saying about, that many acres or what's available.
Yeah, the biggest single concern that I probably have is typically with an MPC or with the PUD, you generally see a contractual amount of open space that is set up for, literally open space or parks or, something that the community can enjoy.
Right.
The problem that we have is the county is not set up to maintain that open space.
Totally hear you there. And that
And
was one of the
so-
reasons they got rid of the PUD overlay, I think.
Yeah, and so if there was some open space that was maintained, it would probably have to be by contract or, something that was there. And
Right.
maybe eventually be a park or an area if it was eventually incorporated or annexed.
Sure.
Because, we simply we don't have a county parks department.
Right,
I mean,
and-
that's
and-
not something we want to maintain or can maintain.
No, that's fair.
So,
One thing, can I talk on that just for a second on the parks and open space? I just learned this in the past year. This was new to me, not new, but I've done HOAs for years, and as a developer, everybody just it's called the reinvestment fee. When every time the property sells, you have a reinvestment fee, and we'd always say, oh, put it at $250, put it at $300, you know what I mean? And we thought that was sufficient. Well, what happens a lot of times, the HOA becomes insufficiently funded.
Yep.
And then when the developer turns it over, they go, well, good luck, citizens, you know what I mean, the people that bought there, and it's not funded. Well, the state legislature has passed a maximum that a developer or a HOA can charge for a reinvestment fee, and it's 0.5% of the purchase price of the property. And at first when I heard that, I went, well, that's steep, But then as I thought about it and I learned about these HOAs having problems and not being sufficiently funded and everything, I've seen that like Ivory, a lot of big developers, that's what they've gone to, so that they're leaving the HOA in a positive situation so that they can continue to take care of their open spaces and common areas. So I just wanted to bring that up because that's a way that you can set up an HOA so it's not defunct right out of the gate, you know what I mean, going forward.
yeah.
And the thoughts with Willard, have you had talks with them about bringing in the sewer?
Yeah, so as far as the sewer goes, last year, end of last year, we have an agreement in place for the sewer to bring it up that Bamberger right away. We've been working with UTA, UDOT. UTA now owns it. Hal, is it Johnson? Yeah, Hal Johnson at UTA. That agreement's almost ready to be signed with Willard. So it's all there to bring that pipeline down. So that's all in place. And when they passed that ordinance last year, they voted that that sewer line extension can be used whether they're in the county or whether they're in the city or not in the city. That sewer line can be used for that. So that was kind of a pivotal. They were looking at it both ways, whether
That's
it
what I
was
just
city
gonna
only.
say. I hadn't heard.
Yeah, and so they did vote that it could be used even if you're not in the city.
They've
So
done
that
the
was
same thing over in Cache.
How far are you away?
2 miles. So
2 miles.
2 miles at an 18-inch line, it's huge, I mean, it's big enough that just because we put it in doesn't mean that it will grow right away, but it will service Randy Marriott's elk farm. It will service the entire south end pretty much for sewer, which is, economically huge for that area,
Right.
No more septic tanks, no more, septic's just not my favorite thing in the world. And a lot of that ground down there doesn't even perk anyways.
Right.
We do, but a lot of that ground doesn't perk. So,
On that, one of the questions that I had is, I'm thinking, okay, you're hooking on to Willard City for their sewer. So rather they think it's going to have an impact or you're going to be part of the community or not, you're right there. Is there any reason that you couldn't annex? I mean, I know in the past that they've had an issue with there being an island if it's not a contiguous landmass between city boundaries.
yep.
Do you know, Scott, would they be able to annex or would that cause a problem? Would it be a unincorporated in between?
If I understand correctly, the legislature, I think 2 years ago, passed a bill that allowed for for islands to be annexed if both jurisdictions agreed to it. So if the county and Willard City were both okay with it.
That's what I'd heard as well. And in all the times that we've had petitions for annexation here, we've never contested anything to the best of my knowledge.
No.
Is that a consideration for you guys to annex?
100% we were working towards that. We had to get through that sewer thing on our
Right.
property. And so we were working towards that. And literally, as we were about to wrap up the sewer thing, Willard City kind of did the same and decided to get rid of all zones except for half-acre zone and greater. And so there's no zone in place in order to, not even a master plan community zone where you can have flexibility and develop by contractor agreement. Is that how the proper wording? I don't know if that's the right word to
Yeah,
say.
they did that back in
Like a
19.
development agreement?
I think it was in 2019, they allowed that, the zoning by contract or by
Yeah,
agreement.
Yeah, sorry, Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the master plan community zone basically operates on a
Development agreement, yeah.
So it's kind of a
Hybrid.
hybrid of a legislative and administrative action at the same time.
Right. Yeah,
Is-
it's so sorry.
No, I mean, if they would allow that, that to me seems to make the most sense because you're hooked to their sewer, but without that zoning change,
Yeah, and they're talking about doing some type of their own master plan community zone. Is that what they're calling it? Something like that?
Yeah, their city council held a work session last Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days, I can't remember. Anyway, they went through, they've kind of taken our master plan community zone and then modified it to better fit the city. And they had a work session on that. I attended that. Mike happened to be there as well. That lasted about 2 hours. And they sent over the draft. I went through that and gave them any feedback. It's to go to their planning commission this evening for another public hearing, and then it would go to their city council. I think they have a meeting in the second week of February is when their city council would review that again. So that's kind of where they're at as far as their master plan community zone.
So if I could just talk to that too. So the draft that we saw and that was worked on in the city council work session, it doesn't give much flexibility for what we're really just trying to do what was approved back in 2014 under a conditional use permit from the planning commission.
was it that far back or was it further? I heard it might have been even 2008 before the recession or during the recession.
It was 14. We looked it up the other day. It was
2014.
when they got the conditional use
Okay.
permit, yeah.
And
But
that-
they had to bring sewer.
And that came from the county, the CUP, but it was contingent upon sewer.
Yeah, so, well, it was underneath the old PUD zone, and the PUD zone was a conditional use permit, and that conditional use permit was approved. It wasn't specifically contingent upon sewer, but they did, at least the county didn't make it contingent upon sewer, but it was contingent upon sewer in the sense that the
Density wouldn't accommodate half
density
acre.
exactly wouldn't accommodate septic. And a conditional use permit requires that the applicant or the permit holder begin their project within 6 months of approval, and that they substantially complete it within 2 years. Anyway, so with the sewer being the complicated aspect of that, they didn't start within the 6 month period or substantially complete within the 2 year period, and the permit lapsed, so they no longer hold that permit.
But that was approved at the planning commission level, or recommended for approval at planning commission level and the CUP.
Yeah, planning commission just approves the
Yeah,
CUP.
CUP.
So they did approve that in, I believe it was June of 2014.
Okay.
The development that was proposed at the time was approved.
So that's, I mean, if we're able to apply for the master plan community zone because we're able to bring that to 50 acres and we're able to make that work, that's really what we're looking to do. And the reason I talk about Willard's master plan community zone and what they're proposing, it really doesn't, I hate to talk numbers when I'm, as a developer, that has nothing to do with the commission's voting, which way they vote. But that sewer line's about $2.5 million or so. And to just go to third acre, I mean, we have a mix of thirds, halves, townhomes. That's what the plan was. It doesn't make sense for us to do that, and we can just do our half-acre lots. We do perk, we can do septic tanks, and not run that line all the way down there. I just feel like I have a strong conviction that it's such a big deal to get that sewer line all the way to that end of that with all the work that we've put forth and all the money we've spent in studies and everything. It's just a big deal, and unfortunately, if the master plan community zone doesn't pass with, and being able to do it with the city, our only option is to be able to work with the county. And if we can't make that work, then we'd probably have to go to half-acre lots, and then it's just still a good subdivision, but it's not what it could be.
Yeah, I'm still just a little bit torn, looking at it, because they approved the sewer.
Yeah.
They know exactly what's going to go in, but then they're looking at changing the MPC, and it wouldn't allow for it. So I'm kind of a little bit confused there personally.
Well, and then my thoughts about the whole thing about we've got however many job openings in Box Elder County, and I would say that it's even A1 farm ground, to where it's at, and in the division where it's at, and it just makes sense that the growth is going to happen, period.
Oh, yeah.
And then do we wait until the subdivisions come in and then do it's that cart before the horse thing, because honestly, if it was a PID, then we don't have a PID, right?
PUD?
No, like it's going in Tremont, personal investment development, private investment development.
I haven't seen that one. It sounds interesting. I haven't seen that though.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, housing's a big deal. I mean, I do sell real estate as well as develop ground. Deer Run, that over there in Willard that went in. I have some friends who just finished up some spec houses. They're 1,600 square foot spec houses, Ramblers, nice houses. They put them on the market at $680,000. This was just over the weekend. One of them got an offer at $710,000 for a 1,600 square foot Rambler. And that's the market. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. That is the market. And so, I've got a project in Morgan City, and it's about 95 townhomes. And I can't tell you how many people are coming that are just recently married. They're selling at 300, and I think we're at 350 right now, which for a townhome, it sounds high, but that's where the market's at. And so many kids can't go back to Morgan if it weren't for those townhomes to be able to buy young married couples, and you know what I mean?
Well, and yeah, that's the thing.
That's the kind of housing we're trying to bring
with
back.
the price point that you have on the townhomes, they say that about 65% of our growth is domestic. I would argue that it's higher than that here in Box Elder County. It's people that want to stay here. It's our kids and our grandkids. And I've got kids that are looking for homes right now, and they can't.
Out there.
They just can't afford it. And so to have these townhomes and have that availability, because there's no inventory right now. There's none.
Zero.
So if you do get this to where you can do it, they will give you sewer.
Yeah,
It's contracted.
We've got the agreement in place with the sewer. They've approved our building plans. That was part of the approval and everything. So yeah, we've got that figured out. It'll gravity flow from our property all the way to the lift station, through all the way through the Bamberger right away, goes through Lou Swain's property, and then hits the lift station. Part of that's upgrading all the pumps to be able to handle the capacity, the tank sizes. We've spent a lot of money and extensive study into making this work, and we do have that in place right now. So it's a big deal.
Scott, can you tell me again, what were the three reasons on the planning commission as far as denial?
So their
Local traffic.
their recommendation was, because this is essentially has the ability to affect the entire county, this section of code, the MPC zone. They said that the not harmonious with the overall character of the county. The residents are against the proposal. Growth should occur in cities and towns, and that it would negatively affect adjacent property owners and cause more condensed travel. So I guess to touch on that a little bit more, some of the things that were discussed, one of the planning commissioners, she feels like having a connection to a sewer, but not having a voice with regard to that utility, because you're not part of Willard City, yet Willard City is controlling your utility. That was a concern of hers. The Planning Commission isn't necessarily opposed to the type of development that the master plan community zone would allow for, but they are opposed to that type of development occurring in the city or in the county, because that type of development is more of a city type development. And if you look at the proposals that would be accommodated in the county versus in a city, because the county doesn't have a way to maintain open space, the proposals that we see in the county generally don't have open space. Whereas the proposals to the city do have open space. They have, amenities like a park in the center of the neighborhood or something like that. So that's a concern of the planning commissions as well, is that if it's developed in the county, eventually it's going to be annexed into Willard City. So shouldn't it be developed in the city to begin with, where that park can be dedicated to and maintained by the city?
Done right from the beginning.
So they have some good points. I can see both sides of it. I see Mike's side, where getting the sewer to the south end of the county definitely has a benefit, and I can see where the planning commission's coming from as well. In reality, the planning commission, upon further review, is opposed to this section of code enough that they asked staff to put it on the February planning commission agenda to review if they actually want to remove it from the code entirely. So, as they've done with the PUD and pulled it out because the development created via that code wasn't conducive to, county development, they feel similarly about this. So that's something at their last meeting that they directed us to do. So I can see both sides of it, and that's why I've actually made an effort to work with Willard City to see if the county can offer any assistance or resources. Because if this gets pulled from the county, I would still prefer to see, the communities that are developed not just be like look exactly the same from one end to the other of cookie cutter development. The proposals that can be done through a piece of code like this could be, far better than that. And we have seen some of those proposals. So whether that happened here or Willard City, I guess ultimately is.
And this property is just north of the trailer park, right?
Correct.
It borders the trailer park, the school property, and the out farm, 489.
Yeah. So the density's already there with the trailer parks,
Yeah.
and they don't have sewer, right?
Mm-mm.
So they're 10th acre, quarter acre,
I don't even know what the trailer park is. It'd be
a lot.
trailer site, a trailer lot. I don't know what they.
If you brought the sewer to that, since they're within 300 feet, would that make them?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a section of state code. I'm not
If you're within 300
feet.
feet, you have to attach.
Yeah.
So that was my other problem. And so the private investment, and I'm sure we don't have that on our books, but that's what Tremont and a bunch of these people are doing. So like the Home Green and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the private investment development actually takes care of that because of the taxes that they create. So they take care of the parks and the roads and the sidewalks and all that kind of stuff. So I just went to some meetings up at Bear Lake about the same thing. And so I just have a tough time saying no because nobody wants to annex.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. My personal preference would be to see if there could be something done where you've worked with Willard City.
they've been
Because, I
doing
mean,
that for,
it only makes sense to get something there because it's going to be on it. And we're really not in the business of the open space, which you really need on a development that size. You need something.
And I agree. I mean, I agree that we do need the open space on something like that. Do you feel like by setting up the proper HOA, like I just explained out of the gate, so it could handle that open space, if we could show you a physical budget of how that would break down, Parks could look at that, or anybody could, and say, yeah, this will be financially feasible when it's said and done. Yeah, it could be part of our development agreement that we turn in.
or else we can just tell Willard that we're going to do it if they don't annex you.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
mean,
hate to say that and be big brother and stuff, but we're coming to the point where
Might force South Willard to
I,
we have worked on this. I've been involved for 4 years.
Right.
right,
And I've went to meetings with everybody.
I remember it in 2014. I hate to
Yeah,
say
when
it.
I talked to you when we were starting this, and when we came up against finding out that UDOT owned that right away and not the county, and
Trying to get it
all of that,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
work with all them, and we're through all of that, and we're here, and I just, it's hard for me to see this not go through, and I'm just pleading with you guys, I don't see it happening in Willard for the next 4 years at least. After that meeting, they've got some great guys on that commission, or on the council, but, you know, you're trying to appease multiple parties, and so it's compromises and stuff, and our project's not gonna be able to work into it, it doesn't look like, you know? And so my only option here is to come before the county and say, here's this project, here are these huge benefits to it, but we can't apply for it unless we get something here that we can even apply for. It doesn't even mean we'll get it, but we can apply for the MPC zone. But with that, the potential for the upswing to the economics of Box Elder County, what we bring with not just because we did this little project, but the sewer line and everything else, you know? And so that's why we're asking for you guys to look at this, because sometimes it does take some hard decisions to be made, you know?
I would be interested in seeing what that looked like as far as a budget on the development for
Or a
the open
PID.
space, for that option, so that I like it and I think it's needed. The inventory is terrible. I'm from a purely selfish standpoint, I want my kids and grandkids around. I don't want to export them. And so we need that, but I don't want to do or approve a development that's not going to be cohesive with the long-range plan. And so I think we do need that open space. And so if you could show us something in a budget that would account for that and that would kind of dovetail into, you know, future.
Because eventually
planning.
it's not going to be us.
No, it's going to happen. I mean,
yeah.
that's the way things work. I mean,
we have two
eventually
cities in between us.
you get a little bit of
So
sprawl.
there's already an island down there that is tough for us to get to snowplow
Sure.
and everything else. So
I'd be more comfortable going that route, just because, like you mentioned, you know, you don't want to be big brother, but that's the frustration that we have sometimes with what the state does to us and feds do, you know, it's like, and so it's like.
and no, we're
okay.
not pro-growth. No, we're not pro-anti-agriculture. It's the plain fact that, you know, people can do what they want to do with their rights, with their land. And having government stand in the way sometimes is,
Well, especially where you already have the sewer
well,
connection.
and that was the big thing about the sewer connection.
Yeah.
So honestly, if you want to look into the private investment development type thing of what they've done in Tremont and Garden City, we have one in Marble Park. Was the last PID that was in the county up on the hill.
Okay.
It's kind of like an HOA type thing.
I'll definitely look into that.
Okay.
Would it be something that, is this something that we could agree to, that it could be reduced to the 50 acres if it's serviced by sewer? And with that, you still have that knowing that you have to approve a development agreement. Part of that development agreement could be reviewing those HOA numbers to see if it's even financially feasible to manage that open space. And if you determine that you're too lean, this isn't going to work, we're not going to approve this, you
I
could
would be
deny us
open.
based on
Yeah,
that.
I think.
I would be open
But
to
it
it.
would allow us to keep moving this forward to then bring
Yep.
a proposal back for the
I would be open to it.
RD
think that's fair.
MPC zone.
Yeah.
Yep. And I would say we just instruct, do you want us to say we instruct them to go back and take a look at this MPC zone, depending on the numbers that you'll bring back as either a PID or a,
With that reinvestment, with that fund
Reinvestment
for
for-
open space.
like an HOA.
Yeah.
Yep.
So would it be, and Scott, correct me, so I can't make application with the MPC, I'll just get denied right out of the gates because they'll say, no, this.
You don't have 100 acres.
acre minimum.
But
And so I won't even get the discussion going. It'll just be like, you don't qualify, period.
we can change it to say 100 acres if available. So
So-
you have 79 acres.
So the application that's before you tonight is to just amend that text from 100 to 50 if serviced by sewer. So the question is, do you want to approve that request? Do you want to deny that request, or do you want to table that request? And with the direction that he provide additional info regarding the open
Yes.
space, the
That would be
how
my
the open space
preference,
is gonna be
not to
funded or
drag this
managed?
on, yeah, forever, but to table it, see if we can get some information on that PID or the funding source for open space.
So he would provide that back to me, and then I would present this again, the same request with that additional information, and then you would be able to base your
Just so we have
your
more-
decision off of that.
More information.
Because I think it's a great development. You've got the sewer, you've got that worked out. I'm assuming you've got the water worked out.
And
But-
arbitrarily just say 100 acres. I have no idea where that came from. You might know.
To have that kind of density with no open space in a master plan community makes no sense. And so to have the planning so that it is harmonious with the surrounding area down the road, that only makes sense to me.
Sure. So is it something that we could, so would I come back, so I just want to have, so would I bring back that, proposal of what the budget would look like? Would I come back before the commissioners with that proposal for then you guys to look at and say, yes, this looks like if we went to 50 acres, this is an example of what could be feasible, yes, and then I could.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, or you could just get it to Scott.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it.
Yeah, based on that entire amount, so.
Is it something that, when's the next meeting, February?
2 weeks from today.
If I could get it back to you, could I be on for that meeting?
Yeah, we just tabled it, so we can actually bring it back in the
It
next,
could be on
yeah.
the next, I'll have something to you
Okay.
by first
Okay.
of the week then, so you guys can have that to review.
And if you need some information on the PIDs, I can send you,
Okay,
text me and I'll send you some information on the PIDs.
okay, that works, I appreciate you guys
Yeah,
having this discussion.
Thanks for the background. I knew
Yeah.
a little bit, but I know more
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, thanks for the info.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we table this so that he can bring us back more information.
second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
info.
thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, one more item.
Okay.
The last one is the Beckham's Edge Subdivision Phase 1. This is,
I was wondering how come the All Red Boys are here. Now I know.
so this consists of 9 lots, ranging from 3/4 of an acre to 1.89 acres. This has been reviewed and approved by all applicable departments. There's an improvement agreement that goes along with it for the new infrastructure that would be installed as part of the subdivision. That as well has been reviewed and approved by the county attorney. This is, I guess I should say, it's located 8400 west and 1150, 11050, so yeah, 1150 north.
102 just west of Eagles.
So it's, yeah, it's just west of Tree Mountain. Yeah. Any questions?
None for me.
Did you guys look into punch and sewer across the highway?
Yeah, we were gonna get on that and forgot to follow through.
I just heard it's just cost prohibitive to,
Yeah, with what they had set up and trying to do, it was just, you know what I mean, there's just been nothing to justify it, and then.
is your main entrance off of 102 or is it off the side road? I haven't seen it.
It's off 8400.
Off of 8400 on the backside?
And
Okay.
these are all well over a half acre anyway, right?
Yeah, they're between 3/4 and, like I said, 1.8 acres. Phase 2 is in the works right now, and it's, I think they're all 1.75.
Yeah, the smallest is acre and 3/4, so they're all, you know, pretty good size that way.
So my new grandson's Beckham, so it's, I already told my daughter that that's his subdivision, so when he grows up, he gets to live in Beckham's Edge.
There you go.
That works out,
I'd make a motion, we approve the Beckham Edge subdivision Phase 1.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye. Sorry you had to sit by so much. Isn't that fun to be here, know what we get to do? Well, you know, there's a couple people that might not be running for commission.
I do live in the county, I was gonna bring you your sign back.
Oh, yeah, the one that's still sitting out there in your front yard?
I forgot to get that back.
Just leave it up, just leave it up
Just
for
put
2 more years
Just
and you'll
put
be
it
just
out.
fine.
Just put it out. No, just use it for shot practice.
The county where I
Just
live,
leave it
so I
up.
make sure that he's got this.
Just take it out and use it for shooting practice.
I just smile, just makes me smile. Every time I
Chairperson.
Me and Mark went to school together. There's not many of us left anymore.
You're perpetually.
He still looks like he came right out of high school.
You're perpetually campaigning. and
I'm perpetually campaigning through Mark's driveway. Oh. That's funny.
Which one is this?
Man, we beat that dead horse, didn't we?
Pretty good.
And you can, this one you
I just didn't know enough.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, appreciate it. Do I need to run that around tomorrow, Scott, for anything?
I'll, once we get it stamped, I'll drop it off in the recorder's office. And you
And I
can
just
just
go
call
pay?
in. Yeah, you can call in and pay over the phone.
Okay, I'll do that. I was hoping Stan would stop by. and-
Good to see you.
But I'll get this.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Oh, there's this.
Corey, next time you're gonna wanna be on the first of the
final
agenda,
ordinance as well.
and Gina.
Yeah, I don't know why they put it back.
Oh, did he?
Scott, thank you.
It was like they went alphabetically for most of it.
Thanks, Scott.
Corey,
Mine will be short and sweet.
okay.
Next time, tell them to do it during the day one. Wow, sorry.
These are the ones I can attend.
You got a closed session?
Okay, so what we're looking, you guys are
not-
well aware of the dispatch advisory
doesn't
board.
have anything.
It's under the control of the commission, and with the retirement, we've got Nick Nesson. He is the Fremont and Garland Police Chief, and it was decided at the last meeting that we would like to appoint him to the board.
I make a motion, we appoint Chief Nick Nesson to the Dispatch Advisory Board.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers, second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you for,
Thank you.
Wow.
thank you for your
Thanks, Corey.
patience.
Well done, Corey.
Thanks, buddy.
Gina,
Honestly, really, you guys ought to be getting to the first of the agenda on a weekend, so tell her next time. Or call us.
I'm just here to request approval for an increase in our fees to keep up with other landfills and transfer stations that are in the same area. The one closest to us, I would probably say, is the transfer station in Weber County, and they are currently $40 a ton. So we are right now $32 a ton. This would put us at $34 a ton, which I think is a little closer to what the actual market is. So,
well, fuel and personnel, I mean, just trying to keep up, so.
oh, yeah. We were short employees for
Ever.
almost 3 years.
Okay.
It's been rough.
Well,
We
I'll
appreciate your work on this and on the other things that we're doing, so,
I'll make a motion, we approve the fee increase for the landfill.
Have
second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
When's
Gina.
it going to go into effect? Because I've heard somebody.
April 1st,
April 1st.
2022.
That way we have 6 weeks to advertise it. I might have jumped the gun. I advertised it on our county website and freaked
Oh, yeah.
people out.
Yeah,
And I apologize.
while you were gone.
Yeah.
While you were gone.
While I was in Panama,
Yeah.
I freaked out a few people. So anyway,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure it was advertised.
She
in
doesn't answer her
advance.
phone anyway, so it doesn't matter. They all come to me.
Anyway, so
Commissioner
it's plenty of
Summers is-
advertising going out there.
He's got your
so,
back. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But okay, all
Shows
right.
me a trip to Panama for sure.
It was my anniversary.
Thanks, Gina.
Yeah, thanks.
Jenica, a couple items. No pressure, but I think you're the only thing that's keeping us here.
I'll go quick. Which one's first?
I believe we've
motion.
got the HSA payments.
Okay. So
This involved 3 individuals.
we have 3 individuals who
Okay.
have requested to have their HSA second payment of the year paid early due to medical necessity.
Okay. Any questions, gentlemen?
Nope.
I don't. I'd make a motion that we approve the HSA early payments.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and my other item is an update to policy 8. This affects exempt employees only. Exempt employees are defined in the policy. Basically what this does is right now we're requiring our exempt employees to track hours. They do report on a time card 80 hours per pay period, noting any vacation or sick leave or holiday that's taken during that pay period. Basically what this does is it allows them to be true salaried employees, meaning that there is no comp time or overtime available for them, but they are allowed to flex their hours a little bit more. So they would be treated truly as salaried employees.
I'd make a motion, we approve the, sorry, I already threw my thing away.
Policy 8 change.
Policy 8 change. Sorry.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers, second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Motion to adjourn.
Steve doesn't have
Oh, we
anything?
still have to, what's that?
Sign your warrant register.
Sign the warrant register.
Steve, you don't have a closed session?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
I'm kicking him under the table. I got grandkids waiting for me at home.
And I'm guessing you're just canceling this opera.
We're doing what?
Opera thing?
I think we just leave it, and, I mean, I don't know anything about it, and without knowing anything about it, I'd feel uncomfortable.
I'll
The
just
first
leave it
item
as
on the
canceled.
agenda.
Oh,
It was a letter of support for an
table it.
endowment for the opera. So, I mean, I don't know what the endowment is or what
yeah,
any
I
of
don't
that
know
means,
what it
so.
is either.
Just got me thinking, because Scott mentioned that the planning commission had said they wanted to potentially look at getting rid of the MPC zone.
That's totally different than what was on the
That's
table.
different than what's on the table. So even if we said yes to this and I was able, I'm just trying to think of how the car, you know what I mean? If they recommended. and it
This
got-
would be all before anything would happen there,
So
so
I'd kind of be ahead of so even if they got rid of it, I could still be in front of it.
if you'd been
in a way.
approved. Yep.
It just got me thinking, sorry.
Because
No,
what
you're
would
fine.
happen is it would
And
go
you got my cell,
before,
right?
it would go before the planning commission, and they would make a recommendation, and then, oh no, I can't remember which direction stuff's going. And then it would need to come to us to take final action.
Right,
And the next planning commission meeting is, I believe, the 3rd Thursday.
okay,
And so it's going to be after our next commission meeting.
okay.
So the earliest we'd be able to take action on any recommendation they'd make would be the first week in March.
But it still wouldn't affect it because his application was in before
Yeah.
that was done away
So,
with.
Yeah.
but the reason I ask this, my application is to amend the MPC zone. And if they recommend
Yeah, but wouldn't matter.
getting rid of it altogether, I haven't even applied for it yet, so I'm technically
Like he
not
said.
ahead of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You'd
It's
be
a
out
good
ahead of
question.
it.
It's a good question because your application's in, but it's kind of a good question because how do you amend something that's been repealed? If it gets repealed before his amendment's completed.
Yeah, so I think in,
So should I turn in an application right now?
But they would assume that we would want to repeal that. You're making a bunch of assumptions.
True.
that-
Yeah, I think in good faith, where you're already working on it and we know about it, that would obviously be something
Well,
we
you
would
already have
take
an
into
application, don't you?
consideration.
I only have an application in to amend the
Right.
MPC zone, but not for my subdivision being,
Oh, I see what you're saying,
So
because you
if-
can't file one because it doesn't qualify yet.
right. So if they say, let's get rid of it, and I haven't filed it, I'm not ahead of that.
You're not, you're right.
So maybe I'll
Well-
file, if this passes,
But the
then
thing
I
is
will
that
be.
we'd still have to take,
Yeah, sorry, I just get so.
No,
caught
we'd
up
have
in-
to, we'd have to take
That's a good
action on
question,
it.
but see, if you file it, it could get denied because it's too
Yeah,
small.
what are you walking away?
And I think, you know, where
You're kind of in
it's
a catch-22.
But I
a
could
good
file
faith
it,
thing.
and if this got passed,
Did you guys make a
then
motion?
then I would
Did you
still
make a
be
motion
ahead of
when you
that
out here?
meeting, so I'd be
No.
on the agenda before they did that.
Right,
You
Oh.
are still recording.
yeah,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Anyway, sorry.
I'll
guys.
second.
good question.
Thanks for listening.
Motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Who's got the lights?
I just got back there spinning wheels.
Yeah, good question.
Okay.
It is a good question.